Everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the B3 podcast. I'm your host, Brett. I got Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C. I got multiple injuries, Matt. And Tanner the Head is back.
Wah,
Wah.
You have the fucking button. You don't need that.
It's almost funnier when we do it.
that wasn't even pre-planned.
Yeah, we didn't even pre-plan that. We're just in sync like that. It's almost
Like all your periods are lined up.
Yeah.
yeah,
That might have been one of your best comebacks.
of the year even.
Yeah, probably.
It's early in the year.
Yeah. We got our show
It's
partners.
probably all downhill from here.
We got our show partners, Elite Nutrition. Check them out at elitenutritionomaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. Go to the store in Omaha or Lincoln, yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
We also have Rosewood Block. They make the best cutting boards and barbecue. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off there also. We also have Omaha Barbell, the real Midwest Mecca, where we always sometimes record from. And there's no discount codes.
But feel free to yell B3.
Yeah, you can yell B3, but there's nothing. It's not. Just a great experience. That's all you're getting. And you know what? That's free after you pay for your membership.
Yeah.
All right, we have a guest today. I'm going to let Luke say his last name so no one messes it up.
My last name's Nikodem.
Yes, Luke's been coming to the gym for
It's been about like 5 years.
all the way through dental school.
Yeah, ever since 2020 with the whole COVID shutdown.
Yeah, COVID was great for our business.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. But right now you're running your life away.
I know. It
But anyway,
seems like
so
it.
you're finishing dental school.
Finishing
Took your
dental
boards.
Took my
You passed. You're almost like a real dentist.
school. Yeah, sort of.
And you're qualified for Boston.
Boston. Yep. So I'm in training right now for Boston. That's April 21st. So
So that's coming up. So how did you qualify for the Boston Marathon?
I ran a qualification time in Chicago of 2023. Yeah, and it was a 2:50. So with the cutoff time with Boston, I think it was like a 7-minute 56-second cutoff. So like even though they say it's a sub-3 is to qualify, the standard still has to be set to a certain bar because certain applicants get in and they can only accept a certain amount of spots. So I was fortunate enough to have a time that got me into
So is your time, when you say sub-3, that's less than 3 hours for the entire marathon? And then is there also like a mile pace that you have to match, or you just average it out?
You just average it out.
Okay.
So yeah, you just want to be under sub 3 hours. But
Gotcha.
with the whole new qualification standards getting more competitive, they've actually upped the standard. So now it's a sub 2:55 to get into Boston.
Okay.
And you ran
I ran a 2:50:48, and that's like a 6-minute 30-second.
Is Chicago the one where you almost shit your pants afterwards, though?
That was the one that I almost did. There's a whole funny story to that whole thing. I remember at like mile 7, I'm like, oh gosh, like I kind of have to go. And then I was like, okay, just tone it out of your head. Like you just keep running. So then I kept running. And then around like mile 18, like that sort of feeling came back. And I was about to take one of my nutrition gels to kind of help get more carbs in me. And I was like, all right, let's hold off on this one just because I know it's going to go right through me as soon as I take it. So I held off on it. And then surprisingly, I didn't have to go the rest of the race. And then when I got my medal and I was like kind of walking through the crowds, it dawned on me, I have to go. And so I like looked at a security guard that was in a golf cart. I'm like, hey, like, can you like drive me to the porta potty over there? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, please, I am literally about to poop myself. And she was like, are you going to do it in the cart? And I was like,
Not
no.
if you drive fast.
I know, seriously. I was like, well, I held it for 26.2 miles. I think I can hold it for about 5 seconds. So she actually like put me in the front of the golf cart, had my feet up, and she just drove me right over to the porta potties. And
Did she wait till you were done?
No, she left me.
Oh, that'd have been nice.
I
That'd have been
know.
real nice. Make sure you're okay. Check in.
Right.
Now, how bad is it pooping after a race like that? Are you just cramping up while you're sitting there? Like hamstring cramps? Like,
Yeah, sitting down is kind of difficult, and those porta potties are pretty small. They're themselves,
and you're not a short guy.
Yeah, I'm not really that short, so
Yeah.
it gets a little hot and messy in there. We'll say that. So
Yeah.
Was it they called it on the man show? The floor of a porta potty is like a man smoothie. But now they're like a lot of them, the floors are like vented. now it's like there's
so all
like
the stuff runs through and hits the ground.
yeah. So when they move the porta potties at the end of the day, yucky.
You got a Slurpee.
So that's where you're at now.
Yeah.
So let's like kind of take it back. So you're from
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
from that area, and now let's kind of go through your kind of growing up. And you and I have talked about some stuff in your life before. If you kind of want to give us like a rundown of your kind of life story, your working out, your kind of body, you had some body dysmorphia stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before because I think there's a lot of people who have body dysmorphia. I think you see it a lot more in women, I think, than men. But I think a lot of men have it. But like even Chris and I were talking about this, I think a lot of men have it. They just don't talk about it though.
Right.
You know, whether you're trying to be big or small or what thin.
Bigorexia.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that every single person in fitness has body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
of some kind.
Yeah.
That's why you started
some
working.
extent.
That's why nobody started working out to get healthy.
So kinda,
Whoa.
you want to kind of give us a rundown of your kind of trials and tribulations through it?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of grew up as one of the kids that was overweight, and it wasn't like overweight to a point where you just look at him like, oh gosh, like he's obese. It was more like that skinny fat look where I was 210 pounds, but like you couldn't say that I was 210 pounds. I probably looked like I was 180. But like on the scale, like I was pretty up there. I was 215 my freshman year of college.
How
And
tall were you then? Same height?
Same height.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just more skinny fat. And I kind of made that transition where I was like, enough is enough. And I started like my own little fitness journey in the spring of my freshman year. And I was doing everything right when I first started, like working out 3 to 4 times a week. I was in like a 200, 300 calorie deficit. And I was a biology major. So like I was learning a lot about like the metabolism of like, you know, just the way that biology works with carbs, proteins, fats, and how it goes through your system. So I was really interested in that, and I was like reading a bunch of research papers. So that kind of helped me kind of get into like the fitness realm a little bit. But I grew up playing soccer, so I was kind of familiar with like how to run, how to stay in shape. But when you go to college and you're not playing soccer anymore, it's like, okay, what else do you do as a college? Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where I was at. And so I cut all of that out and started my own like little fitness journey, like I was saying. And I was just kind of losing some weight, healthy at first. And then when I started seeing the results and people started commenting, it was like you get addicted to it and you see that number in the scale go down and then just kind of a downward spiral. But I mean, if I would go back in time, I wouldn't change a thing. So,
Yeah.
but like I still deal with kind of like that body dysmorphia where I'm like, I still see myself as that 215 pound kid where I was just like out of shape, not really into the fitness and just kind of eating junk. So I kind of just had to watch everything like all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you and I have talked before about like food and macros and stuff like that. Does following a plan and having a discipline and following something help you with that, since you know you're on, like you have a plan?
Yeah.
And if you're just winging it, you just don't eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So if I don't weigh anything or if I don't really track anything, it's like I don't really eat. But I've kind of lessened that mindset. I've been more lenient with how I eat and kind of how I go about stuff, especially now since I'm running so much that I'm burning a lot. So I have to eat a lot.
Yeah. Does your like when you're getting ready for a big race, does that nutrition change? Are you adapting that up and down, like your calorie intake?
Yeah, I'm really good at practicing kind of like my nutrition, especially for a big race. Like I'll do it before some of my big workouts just so I know how my body will react to certain things and certain foods. But it's very generic just because I have like a runner stomach where it's like, oh gosh, like if I have like pizza and pasta, which I've tried, then that next day is not it's not good.
So what does like when you say like you have the runner's stomach, like what are the foods that work for you?
A lot of plain jasmine rice, tuna, honey, and salt. That's basically all I eat like the day before a race.
And that's just so you don't throw up or shit yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Have you
Is
thought
that-
about putting a diaper on during a race?
I mean, no, I haven't. I have not thought of that.
It might give you a little more leniency in your food.
Right.
When you,
Sounds a little chafy.
Yeah.
Chafy.
that-
I think if you get like the store brand, probably, but if you get like a Huggies, I bet you're fine.
They make them in that.
you can just
size,
get
though?
like a cloth diaper.
I don't know.
like-
It's been a while since I wore one.
Come on. You
I
haven't
mean,
thought
a
about
couple
it?
weeks.
I mean, yeah.
maybe like a cloth diaper.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's probably
I did used to carry some Depends in my bunker gear. Because sometimes you go on like those wildland fires and like you're out there for a while and there's nowhere to shit. So
Just put one of those on so you can shit your pants. And
yeah,
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's still going to be a rash.
no, I use them as a wipe, not like put them on. Like you just keep them out there because they're pretty absorbent. You just wipe with them.
You just stop in the middle.
Yeah, because otherwise
What's Matt
that
doing?
TP
Oh, he's
just
pooping.
turns to goo in your
He's
pocket.
pooping again.
Yeah.
So in your when you're as you're younger, you think you're overweight. Like how much did that affect you like mentally and physically? Like how extreme or non-extreme did you go?
Yeah, I got pretty extreme at certain points, like when I was like at least sub 5% body fat, and like I was eating probably 1,800 calories and training 2 to 3 times a day. It was kind of, it was extreme. I know, I remember when I was like really into it, I wouldn't leave the gym until my watch said I burned 1,000 calories. And I know those watches are just like a rough estimate and there's not like a guaranteed, but I'm like, I won't leave until I hit 1,000 calories. And I still was probably under eating and under fueling the entire day. Like I could wake up in the middle of the night and it almost felt like I could feel my body was like eating itself. So
Jesus, what was your body weight at that point?
the lowest I got was 148. And I started around,
And now that was in high school or that was in college?
that was in college. So that, yeah.
Now, were you concerned at that point, or was anyone concerned for you at that point?
Yeah, I know multiple people, like my family, were definitely concerned. Like especially when we would have family gatherings and we'd have food over at the house, and I would still be eating my chicken, rice, and broccoli, and everyone else would have like pizza and Panda Express, and there's just me, just kind of having my own meal. But I didn't have any like negative. I wasn't negative about it. I was just more like it makes me feel good, and I train better with it, and I can see results with doing this. So. But then there's a certain extreme that you can go to where it's like one meal's not going to kill you. And so I've kind of come to fruition with that too. So
Were you
it's
ever
nice.
worried that you were going to get like an eating disorder?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I probably had orthorexia at a certain time where it's just like you can only eat clean food. But I mean, I was never diagnosed with it because I was never seen for it. But like I know.
You don't go. You don't have to find out.
Yeah, you don't know.
Don't have to tell. It's fine.
So yeah, it was a learning moment for sure. But I mean, I got to where I wanted to go, and I think that was probably pretty much it. So yeah.
Where along your journey of like going through that and training, and then like when did you decide that like, hey, competing and running, like that's my jam? Was that during that time period, or have you always been that way? Or
It was during that time period. So with the whole bodybuilding shenanigans I was doing, it was like running was my fasted cardio in the morning. Like I would come to the gym, and I think Brett would remember, I would be running like 2 miles in the morning, and then I would do ab workouts, and then I would just do my bodybuilding stuff in the afternoon. And then my family, we go down to Florida, and there's no gym like within like a 30-minute radius of where we stay. So we go down there for 2 weeks. So I'm like, what am I going to do for 2 weeks? So I just kind of picked up running. So I would run like 4 miles every day. And I remember I had this one really good run, and I got home and I told my mom, like, I can run a marathon. And she like looked at me like, how?
oh no,
And
he's sick.
Yeah. So then later that night I signed up for my first marathon and didn't tell anyone. And I trained for
Like full marathon, didn't even go with a half. Just
didn't
fuck
even
it.
go with a half. I'm just like, I'm just going to go for a full marathon and see what happens. And so I like looked up on YouTube, like training for marathons, like programs. And I found one. I was like, okay, I think I could do this. And so I gave myself like, it was like 15 weeks.
Okay.
And I think my first marathon was September 25th, the Omaha Heartland Marathon. And I ran like a 3:13. And I remember afterwards, I was like, wow, that was actually pretty fun. I mean, I'll just cross off my bucket list. And then I was like, oh gosh, like I got addicted to it because everyone was so nice. And I met so many cool people there. And then the experience of just like kind of pushing yourself was something that I was looking for.
Well, 313 is fast.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I know.
That's some people are shooting for a half.
And the funniest part about that whole race is I only think I took 2 gels, and like now I take like 6. And I didn't drink any water, and I didn't even look at my watch a single time. I just went out and just treated it as a long run.
Just ran.
Yeah, and just ran. I didn't even look for a time. I was out there to run.
Before you started training, you said like you did like 4 mile runs and stuff. Was like 4 miles kind of the longest you had like typically run?
Yeah, and so even on that trip, I after I signed up for that marathon, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go run 10 miles. I got done with the 10 miles, like, I should probably email the committee and say, I want my money back. I'm not doing this anymore. So, but no, I kind of stuck to the plan and everything kind of.
So what was your progression like when you going from, so you said you looked it up, you found like a 15-week plan and went after that, like just kind of generalities. What did that build up look like?
Yeah. So it was a lot of easy miles. They say when you first start off, you want to build that aerobic base. So a lot of slow, easy miles. It would be like 3 miles on Monday, 3 miles Tuesday, 10 miles on Wednesday, off Thursday, 3 miles Friday. And then it would range from like 15 to 22 miles on Saturday and then off Sunday. So, I mean, it wasn't too extreme, like compared to my other preps for like a Boston qualifier, but just kind of building that aerobic base was what I really focused on. Like I wasn't doing any speed workouts. I wasn't doing any track. I wasn't doing any sorts of like intervals, stuff like that. It was all just more go out for a run. Don't even really look at your watch kind of thing.
Gotcha. So like you weren't pacing yourself. You're like, hey, I'm just going to go out. I'm going to make sure I get the miles in.
Yep. Time on feet was exactly what I was looking for. And then just kind of seeing how my body adapts to it. So, yeah.
And then did you advance with that training into like what kind of weightlifting to add to it? Did you do more research into that, or you started working with now? You work with a coach now, right?
No,
or a group or something.
Yeah, I'm in a run group, but I'm self-coach at the moment. But regarding like weight training, that is one of the biggest key components to like kind of my running realm. It's like prevents me from getting injured, makes me a stronger runner, and then also running also makes me better in the gym weightlifting wise. Like I have the endurance to kind of push myself a little bit more. But yeah, I've definitely felt like strength training has definitely improved my running, especially with my legs and my upper body, especially from being a soccer player. So that kind of helps.
So are you doing more like strength when you're doing weightlifting? Like what's your kind of rep ranges? Are you doing more endurance?
Yeah, I'm kind of in that 6 to 8 to 10 rep range with like 3 to 4 sets of muscle movements and stuff like that. And my splits are usually like it goes upper, lower kind of deal right now, especially training for Boston. I don't want to tax my legs too hard just because I'm going to be already running so much. So
yeah, do you have it laid out that you kind of taper some of that as you get closer to the run?
Yep. As I get closer to the race, I'll kind of cut my gym time from 4 days a week down to like 3 days a week, and then just making sure I'm doing more recovery than normal. So
okay, and then injuries have started to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to kind of stay healthy for a long time just because of all the compounding that the running has done to me. And I had an injury in the summer, and it turns out I actually got the MRI re-looked at yesterday, and it turned out it was more of a iliac psoas tendonitis in my hip instead of hip synovitis. So I'm just gonna gotta get worked up on that and kind of get back onto the horse. So yeah, I'm positive for this future.
So you're a little month and a half away from Boston. So what does your training look like now, running wise?
Running wise, since I just came off of a marathon that was on February 8th down in Mesa, Arizona. Right now, I'm just going to keep my mileage up. Like volume's going to be high, but intensity is not going to be that high just because I'm still probably recovering from Mesa's marathon. And then I know my speed's there. I just have to kind of work on that endurance part.
So is that one of the keys? Is just getting miles? Is
Yes.
that like the biggest key?
Yep. Getting miles, time on feet is probably the most important aspect to running and getting that endurance up.
Did you have to teach yourself or like improve your actual running style, like how you run? Not just like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and run, but like coach yourself to be like a more efficient, better runner?
Yes. Yep. I've worked with other people like regarding like runner forms and runner physical therapists that would look at your form and they can evaluate it, and then they can help you make some minor changes to prevent injury and to also run more economy friendly. So
No, go
ahead.
What's the plan after Boston?
my plan after Boston is to graduate and be a dentist, and then kind of work in my dental career as more of my interest.
So Boston, you're done.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going to be done after Boston, like race-wise, just because I'm going to be working as soon as I become a dentist, and I'm not going to be able to have time to go take off, 3 days just to go run a race. So, but I'll still be running just for the health of it.
So what's your plan? Because you're going to be running way less, right?
Yeah.
Calorie burn is going to be different.
Calorie burns can be different. Yeah.
So what are you already thinking about, like what your goals are? Like, are you going to be more focused on weightlifting? Because you're not going to just drop working out.
Yeah, no,
So,
no,
yeah.
never. I won't do that. I'll probably just kind of maintain. I'll probably just go through a maintain period where I'm just going to kind of maintain my weight, maintain my endurance, and just kind of just go off that. And if opportunity strikes where there's a race that pops up, like say I get into the New York race, New York Marathon in November, then I'm definitely going to have to sign up and do that one for sure.
So that Boston determines that.
So the registration for New York was actually, I think, last week in February. And we find out March 5th if we get in, and it's like a lottery. I think there was a stat last year that said that you had a better chance of playing college football at Yale than you did making it to the New York Marathon. So, yeah, it's pretty competitive to get into that one. I know.
So it's because I thought like Boston was like the marathon. Is like New York. Would that be like, as far as prestige goes, is New York?
Boston is like the Super Bowl of marathons, just because the only way to get into it is to qualify, as opposed to like New York and Chicago. Those are like lottery systems. So it's almost like you put your name in a bucket and they just pick it, kind of like that.
Gotcha. So there's like no standard for it. It's just kind of like, hey, you sign up for it. And
Yeah, you could do that too. And there are qualification times that you can reach to get into like New York. But like last year, I think I threw in my half marathon time and I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to get in. Nope. I was like, oh gosh. So yeah, it's really competitive to get in via qualification. But there is a lottery system to that.
Okay.
Now, working back, like when you're talking about your time, time on feet running, how hard is it and how much practice is it to actually like pace yourself? Because I assume when you first like get into it, you're like, I'm going to run as fast as I can.
Yeah, you quickly learn that you can't hold a certain time for that long without completely blowing up. And it's also, you have to do it to know it kind of thing. Like people will tell you, oh, you have to pace yourself, but you actually have to learn your own paces yourself. And then you'll find out what paces you can actually maintain for a period of time.
Matt, we're never going to learn that.
No, I was thinking, I have some friends who like, they were runners in college and they like that. Like they're coaching and teaching their kids. Like they have one kid, their oldest is a phenomenal distance runner. And so they're like working with him to figure out what his pace is. And so they'll like run around the track and they'll ask him like, hey, what pace are you running at? And try to like get him conditioned at that. Cause they can run. And Scott, when he was actively running, I think he said he could tell the difference between like, if he was doing like a 7-minute versus like a 6:45 versus like a 6:30, like he could tell those small increments based on his cadence and his pace.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like a 5-second deviation from an original pace to a different pace feels, especially what happened to me in Mesa. It was like, since I was holding a 6:30 for like my Boston or for my Chicago and for my Lincoln Marathon, and then now I was trying to aim for like a 6:19. Like it felt good through 18 miles, but it didn't feel good when I got to that mark. So it's kind of interesting how it changes.
Yeah, you said your hamstring.
No, I was dehydrated. I felt like I just blew up around like mile 18 and a half and everything locked up as soon as I was kind of grabbing a cup of water. So I was like, oh gosh. So
It's like locked up, like you just had to stand there for a second and couldn't move, or like it was just cramping?
Yeah, it was a mixture of both. I around like mile 18 and a half, I was going to go get a water from the water station, and when I reached for it, like my upper back like completely cramped up, and then it went all the way down to my toes, and I kind of just stopped like at a standstill, and I like stood there and I like drank like all these Gatorades that they had on the cup table. And then I asked one of the volunteers if I could borrow her phone so I can call my mom and tell her that I'm okay. I'll just finish the race, but I like don't expect like I'm gonna be hitting my goal today. So but my mom didn't pick up.
Thanks, Mom. I'm just back here laying on the side of the road, fucking cramped up.
I know. And then I asked the volunteer, I'm like, where are you from? And she's like, I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm like, perfect. My mom's going to see the area code. I'm like, if she calls back, just tell her Luke's okay. He'll make it. He's okay.
What were they? Was the race volunteer like, oh, okay, another one fell down or another one like locked up?
Yeah. That was kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
You should have him pace you, Chris, so you can hit that time you were looking
Shit.
for.
I was just thinking about that. I think that was my whole thing about when I was trying to. I still run, but not that many miles. I run like the maximum I run is 2 miles. 2 miles
in a week.
But no, I run 2 miles once a week, and then I just run miles. You know, like a slow mile, a fast mile, then like a slow
So pretty
2
much
mile.
like Luke's training.
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah.
But my whole thing
Just
was
scaled
when I would
way
try to go past 3 miles, I would always burn myself out because I'm bored and I'm tired of running. So I'm like, I need to get this 5 miles in. So I want to get it over with. So I would never be able to try to pace myself to where I could not. Because then at the end of the 5 miles, I'm like, I'm fucking dead because I'm not. Because I'll start it off like I'm running slow. I keep looking at my watch. I'm trying to get my pace, and then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get this over with. I'm just
Like to
gonna
go home now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna amp it up. So the distance running isn't my thing. I really do enjoy running like short distances, like for the mile or 2 miles. I'm not saying I'm like going out there and burning it down, but anything after 2 miles, 3 miles, I am so bored. I can't even. But I do like going short, but not for a long time. I just don't have the mindset for it. Thanks, Tanner. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, that's what too. How do you get past the boredom?
It's like 3 hours is a lot of time to spend with yourself.
I won't speak for you, but I just kind of got in a peaceful. But I've trained for a marathon. I've ran like 4 or 5 half marathons, and it's kind of just peaceful. Like you can get in your own head. Like I just either listen to music or I actually just like.
I'm sure you can
have
get lost
thoughts.
You can get lost.
Yeah,
in
with
your
all
head.
those voices, you're probably not bored.
I do have voices, but we have conversations, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, you kind of get in that runner's high, and then it just kind of takes off from there. Yeah, so
That's the only thing. Like you get in that little spot, and for the longest time when I was trying to run, I was like, man, when's that thing going to happen to where you like zone out?
And then quit too early.
Then exactly. And then finally, I was running for a long time, and I zoned out, and I was like, oh man, I just zoned out. And then I started thinking about it. And then I couldn't get back into it again after that. Then I'm like, fuck, is this almost over now? I missed my zone out period. And now I'm ready to be. I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, you started thinking. You're not supposed to do
exactly.
that.
That's what happened. I was like, oh, I just zoned out. And I was all happy. Then it never happened again.
I've had that driving, never running though. Never running.
That's surprising.
yeah.
Yeah, I was more of a sprinter, so there wasn't a lot to think about.
Well, like the hardest part of your run is like your first couple miles.
Right.
It always was for me. It was like the hardest part. Like
That was another thing I did. I've recently started warming up slowly. I wouldn't just go out there like, oh, I got to hit this pace today. I'm not going to warm up. I'm just going to fucking get after it. Now I run a half a mile really slowly, like jog it slowly. And I've noticed that that's a big difference in running just a mile than going out there and just getting after it off. I think that's a big part of it too. Do you ever warm up before you try to hit a new pace, or how do you do that when you're trying to up your mile time?
Yeah, after just getting injured this summer, I've definitely taken my warm-ups a lot more serious than I did in the past. Like before, in the past, I would just start the watch and just start heading out there. But now it's like I have band work that I kind of do to loosen up my glutes or get my glutes activated, hamstrings activated, everything like that, quads, calves, upper body, back. So I do like a whole 15-minute warm-up before I even step foot outside. So
I could probably do a 6-minute mile pace for like a quarter to a half mile.
no,
Yeah. Oh, I could.
no,
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
For a half mile?
Half mile.
I mean, there's a track right down the street.
Yeah, no warm up. We're just getting after it.
Half mile.
Dude, let's go video that.
Yeah, 3-minute 800. Let's do this.
Half mile. I bet I could probably do it.
We're gonna see Tanner get a runner's high or whatever he's doing over there by himself.
You can see my hamstring rip off my bone.
Yeah. I thought about sprinting the other day, and I was like, I'd probably just fall apart.
That's a really bad idea for you.
What's that supposed to mean?
We're too old just to go sprint. Like you better fucking
Yeah, he's
warm
not
up.
calling you fat. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better fucking warm up.
So when you ran these marathons, Tanner, when was this? These half marathons, when was this?
Let's see. I don't know. The last one I ran was probably 10 years ago.
What'd you weigh then?
205.
How massive did your head look when you were running?
Pretty big.
That's how
would
you
probably
I ran.
lean forward.
So I ran market to market after I had been lifting for a while, and I was bigger. I was like probably 225, and all these people are out there like small. And the group I was running with were actually runners. Like I was the slowest person in the group, and I was still at 7. I averaged like 7:15 for market to market. but they were all like 6 minutes. And they're like, it looks like you're chasing your food, is what they said when they saw me running.
I mean, probably not wrong.
No.
So, kind of recap. So, thought you were overweight.
Yeah.
You get some body dysmorphia, which kind of actually changed your life and put you in the direction you are now.
Right.
What do you think the stats are of the number of people who actually turn it around? Do you know what I mean? And turn it into something like that.
I would say I think almost every male has body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Like the guys that are big, like guys that you say are big, don't think they're big.
Well, yeah.
They want to be bigger. Yeah. Guys that are lean don't think they're lean. They want to be leaner. You know, like it's every
degrees.
Huh?
Like
it's just
degrees of.
So what you're saying is nobody's happy.
Zero. No one in fitness is happy because they're always chasing something else. No, I don't know anybody in fitness who's like happy with where they're at. I zero. I don't like Ed or anybody, even the greatest. They're like, nope, I need this number. Like there's always something else. Like no one is ever happy, and I think that's what pushes you. I think when you become happy is when you stop fitness. Like you're just like set. Like you're like, okay, well that was it.
But what do you think about the people that? I think they do, but they don't talk about it. Somebody who's like overweight and they just don't work out. Like they just don't think they're fat, or they don't think they're out of shape. Do you think?
Well, that's another kind of body dysmorphia.
That's what I'm saying. Like
probably way more pleasant.
Yeah, right. Instead of facing it in the mirror kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, and I think for someone who thinks they're small, trying to get big, you're chasing it. But I think, just in my opinion, I think when you think you're overweight and you're trying to get small, that's I think where you can lead to a lot more darkness in your life. You know what I mean? Like some bad mental issues. Like you start to question. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's why I was kind of
you
asking.
get super unhealthy. Like we might get kind of fat and unhealthy. Like put on some dirty weight when you're trying to get bigger. But for the most part, I feel like I would assume it's probably a slippery slope going the other way.
It probably is more dangerous. But that's why I was asking you what your plan was afterwards, because everyone who's smaller that I know that wants to get bigger, and I deal with it every single day, they are, I think, scared of getting fat. So every time they put on 2 or 3 pounds, even if it's good weight, they have to lose a pound. You know what I mean? Like they can't, they're just so scared of getting fat, even though they want to be bigger. Like that's their goal. They want it. It's in their head, but the process of doing it is hard. And I actually went through that because I was fat growing up too. And I had abs and freaking, I was like, okay, lost 90 pounds at one point in time. And I wanted to get bigger, and it was like a struggle. Like I put on 5 pounds and then fuck this. I'm not eating. I'm going to go run on the elliptical machine until I burn 1,000 calories.
Right. It's kind of like that number on the scale kind of justifies what your mood and how you're going about it.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't really be a thing, to be honest.
Well, and what kind of motivated you? Like everybody has something, you know what I mean? Like whether you're the small kid and people make fun of you, or your older sisters or something beat you up, so you're like, well, I'm just gonna get bigger and stronger. You know what I mean? Like what was?
Did you used to get beat up by?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I got 2 older sisters and older cousins. I used to get beat up by them all the time.
Nobody beat me up.
Well, your brother's like half your fucking size.
I beat him up a lot.
Yeah.
And his friends.
Did he start working out?
No.
No, he never stood a chance. Like
he might he might get a better shot on you now though. He's a pretty good shot.
No, I just have to get him winded in the first 8 seconds and he'll be done.
Which you will also be winded the first 8 seconds.
No, I can probably fight for 10 seconds. Those last 2 seconds are going to be miserable for him.
But what kind of got you? What made you?
Yeah, there wasn't really a specific moment.
Like someone was like, hey, fat kid.
No, it was more of a compounding effect of kind of everything that's gone into it. Like, yeah, there was people that would always make comments saying like, yeah, he's the heavy kid, he's the fat kid kind of thing. Yeah. And then it would also be like, oh, I also did try to start losing weight. And then I would starve myself. And then 2 days later, I'd find myself eating brownies, playing video games with my friends on Friday night. So it's like, I couldn't even hold it for myself. So then I was like, okay, I got to really do this for myself. And then I kind of flipped that switch and I broke it, and I was never going to go back. So it was kind of a big change in my life. And
Yeah.
So kind of similar old Heavy C over here, except you were way fatter.
Oh, way fatter.
Really?
Oh. we should have some. I'm gonna have to print off one of those old photos of me.
We're talking grainy.
We'll put it up in here.
Yeah.
So
with a flip phone.
Yeah. It doesn't look. I don't think it looks bad. I'm gonna print it off and we can just like
'Cause your highest was
frame
what?
it.
Yeah.
Frame it. I was like 290, 295.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
at
not
5'8" and a half.
Incredible.
5'8".
Bowling ball.
They call him Ball Boy. He's as tall as he is wide. Look at this little guy rolling around there. I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
That's pretty impressive. Impressive. What do you think about that dude? I think it was the Austin Marathon. He ran it in jeans. No
I
shirt,
did. Yeah, I did see that.
And
yeah,
he beat almost all the women except for one.
really.
Yeah, he beat. I think he.
Did he register as a woman? That's not okay
No,
anymore. That's
that was the biggest thing. She just overtook him like right at the end, I guess.
You ran it.
Yeah, he ran a really good time.
In
It was
jeans,
like a
no shirt with jeans on.
I bet he was it Drew Dober?
Let's
Yeah,
see
were
what
they
he-
like
let's see what he ran.
Levi jeans or were they
They're like black,
Like what?
like yeah.
right? But you can get like some stretchy
yeah,
jeans. Like,
like
stuff
Drew
that
has those
wears would
Jaywalker
be
ones or
fine.
whatever that are like super.
Would you find it
stretchy.
less impressive if they were stretchy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
if
like
you go-
jeggings.
Like if it was just like man jeans, not like freaking.
Yeah,
like,
if you go down to Tractor
jeggings.
Supply and you fucking grab some Wranglers off the shelf and
Yeah.
run in those.
Now, and then also, did he have like a Leatherman on the side? Was he carrying all
the
of his like,
pliers.
Yeah.
You gotta have the pliers.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the Leatherman. Did he have a chain wallet? Was he being weighed down? Like, I would
Gotta
think
chafe.
the chafing has to be bad.
He ran
Yeah.
a 2:42.51.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Fuck.
what's the chafing like on that? Are you wearing like the fucking like
Running the Austin
loops and shit
Marathon
like
in
that?
The half tights? No, I kind of wear these Nike short shorts, and I don't really have any chafing problems with
You
it.
don't do like the body lube stuff or whatever that shit's
I
called.
do
His-
put I do
they're
put
not-
Vaseline.
He's not like his thighs aren't touching.
He's got the
like,
thigh gap.
I
He doesn't
do.
have the chafing problem.
Yeah, I'd imagine like you'd have to put some kind of Vaseline.
Yeah, I have to wear special
Something
underwear.
there.
We would.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would.
Well, I
I don't
think
know if he does.
I put more on my toes than I do anything else because you don't want to see my feet.
They're probably kind of stretchy. They look kind of.
They kind of look like sweatpant jeans.
Hey, that guy. So there's one person who's done a sub-2 marathon, right?
Sort of. That one is not like an official
Okay,
sub two.
but he did. But his other times 2:0, his official times 2:02.
yeah, Eliab Kipchoge.
It was
Have
from
you ever-
Ethiopia,
I think he's
202?
from.
Kenya.
And he's actually
Kenya,
gone under,
fucking
but there was
guys are like-
something.
Yeah.
I don't remember the reason why the under 2 didn't count.
Right. I think it was just because of the location, the environment. I could be wrong. I haven't really
Yeah,
looked. Too
I don't.
much
I
into it.
think you're right. But I was watching something on him. Have you ever raced with him?
I have not, but I've raced with the current world record holder, RIP Kelvin Kiptum. He ran the same Chicago Marathon that I did, and he was the one that set the world record at that same Chicago Marathon.
then
that I was
died?
in. Yeah, he was in a car accident.
Oh, I thought like died like.
Oh no, not at the end. That was, but yeah, he passed away in a car accident. I believe that February. So after,
Have you tried to run like at a 2-hour pace just to see what it's like?
I have. It's not pretty, and they make it look so effortless.
They don't even look like they're freaking moving.
Right.
It's so annoying. The guys out there just
What's
cruising
the
that
mile time on that?
4
Like a 440 something.
Fuck.
for 26 miles.
What's your
Yeah.
time?
Not even. No, my best mile times
You
like.
wanted an 8-minute mile.
Yeah, well, that's
we couldn't
for
get
3
3 for
miles.
eight.
For 3 miles, I just ran an 8-minute mile the other day on the treadmill, and it wasn't that bad. I think my best time was, I wanted like a under 7, and I was like, yeah, I did it. I'm done. I was like 6:58. I'm like, I did it. I did it.
For 1 mile, yeah.
Yes, for 1 mile.
Sign my
Yeah.
shoes.
So what's
Put it
your
on the
what's your
shelf.
pace for a full?
My pace for a full is
6:19.
Yeah, that's my goal pace. Is
Yeah, run that for 20 plus
6.
miles. No, I'm not.
But your best is you said 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30.
That's fucking moving.
That is fucking moving.
It's
So,
cooking.
have you ever tried just to do a mile? What your best mile time is?
I haven't
You
yet
ever try
practiced
that?
that. I saw some guy on YouTube try it, and then his heart went into like some.
I tell people
arrhythmia, so
runners
I was like,
fucking
okay, I
die
don't
all the
wanna do
time.
that.
Us fat weightlifters, fine. Runners dropping fucking dead all the time.
Oh,
Should we just live forever? Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More you know.
no, but my half time it was like a 5:54, so I could hold my half pace is a lot faster, obviously, than my real pace. So
Why would you want to run it in jeans? I wonder if that guy just did it just to see if he could.
Maybe he just watched Forrest Gump.
He qualified for. I think he was trying to qualify for the Berlin Marathon, is what it said.
yeah, I think he did. And then there was a guy that ran 50 marathons in 50 states, and when he came to Omaha, he ran the Omaha Marathon in overalls because it was a symbol for, the Cornhuskers in Nebraska. So Yeah, and he said the chafing was pretty bad on those.
Oh,
so,
I imagine.
I can't even imagine that.
Have you looked at doing any ultras?
I kind of have a little bit. Right now, I'm just really focusing on the marathons and trying to go all for the world majors, which are like kind of a big deal in the marathon world, which is like New York, Chicago, Berlin, Boston, Tokyo, and Sydney. Australia is a brand new one as well, and then London.
Cool. And you have to like kind of qualify or lottery for all those.
Yep. You kind of have to have a good qualification time, and then also lottery, and then also charity is an option too. You can run for charity, and you would just have to raise a certain amount of money just to get into those races.
So far you've done Chicago, and now you're going to do Boston,
Yep. And then fingers crossed, New
Hopefully
York.
New York.
Yeah.
and then you're done.
Pretty much until like
For a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take your practice going.
Correct.
But you're going to stay like race ready, you said.
Yeah. I'm just gonna maintain what I have and just kind of in 8 miles every day is not bad. It's something that I could do. It's almost what I feel like I'm doing now.
Every day.
Yeah.
Well, it only takes him like less than 50 minutes to do it. So,
It's not 4 hours like us.
8 miles. All right. What are we going to do?
It took us like 45 minutes to walk 2 miles.
Yeah.
And Brett was mad.
Yeah, he's worried about my speed.
What happened that day? It was when you guys used to
We were
rock.
walking, and it was
Yeah.
like,
And I
you're
was talking shit. I remember what I said. I was
like, you all right back there?
Yeah, and you're like, fuck you. How mad he got at me. And I'm like, this hill fucking sucks. I'm like, it's a slow incline.
Yeah, then we go into that place, and
Does
Matt
suck.
stops the timer.
Yeah.
Brett's like-
Because we were
Brett's like, why are you stopping the timer? And Matt's like, because we're not walking around. Brett's like, I'm fucking walking around inside the store. I keep the fucking timer
counts.
going.
Yeah, I still have my ruck pack on. Fuck, dude.
But you're inside.
Didn't matter.
Yeah, it does because it's got to be outside.
It's an
okay.
outside work. Yeah, it was because that was when he was doing 75 hard. So it was
man.
start your own timer, Brett.
I should have. I should have.
All right, I'm done. I'm going back. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, this place sucks. Leave it.
Hate this place.
Set this at 1.5 speed.
So you're done with school in May?
Yep. Done with school in May, and then I'll get my license in July, and then that's when I'll start be able to
So
practice.
when are you moving then?
It looks like maybe end of May, early June, and then kind of going to North Carolina is where I hope to be dental practicing.
So you hope, or you got it lined up? There's a big difference there.
There's still things that are in the wires right now, so just got to play those out.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
I know, I'm excited.
The last dentist here moved to Alaska. Do you want to do that?
Oh, Curtis?
But he's got to be, he's coming up on that first, he's like, what, a 2-year deal?
Yeah.
So I think he's, another year and then there.
Why North Carolina? Do you have family there? Or?
No, my girlfriend and I, we kind of just decided on a place to kind of sit down and settle down for a little bit before eventually returning home to one of our places where we're from.
Didn't another guy from Creighton, is he in North Carolina?
Yeah, Jesus,
yeah.
who worked at Barbell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus is a great guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was in North Carolina.
Yeah, so he's out there as well.
Well, that's cool, man. It's a cool story. I mean, it's the first time we've had a marathon runner on here. But it's also, well, you're not. Tanner, get out of here. You ran halves.
No, I don't. I'm not counting myself as.
Oh, I thought you were like looking at me like.
No, I'm like, yeah. It's not, we don't really know a lot about marathon running. Not really our.
We learned a lot just now.
We did.
Yeah,
But no, I mean, it's cool that you kind of, a lot of people have different struggles with different things and actually take it in a positive direction. Especially like I said, because I always feel like the weight loss ones can go very poorly
right.
into like the anorexia, bulimia, stuff like that. And you were mentally strong enough to kind of switch it over, which I think a lot of people, you can just find something you like to do.
Well, and I think that's an important thing for most. Like, I think a lot of people just want life to be easy. Life's not easy. Like, you have to come through. You always come to these like crossroads where you make decisions, and like you had made the decision to be healthier, and it may have went too far, but then you recognize it and you made another decision to become healthier in a different way. To maintain your health. And I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. Like, we don't always make the best decision. It's like, how do you come back out the other end?
Right. And like when I first started, I was doing it for like others that were always like kind of commenting on me for being overweight. And then the more I was getting into it, I was doing it for myself. It was like a you versus you kind of thing. It wasn't a you versus anyone. It was never about that. So,
Well, I think any of those goals like that is like, it's like rehab. Like we talked, like when we were talking with Kelly, like no one can, if someone makes you do it, you're probably not going to do it. But if you decide yourself you want to do this, That's going to be the biggest difference.
And if you're doing things for someone else,
Right.
like external motivation, it becomes things that, come and go. But when it's internal, then it sticks.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you still weigh yourself now?
I do. Yep. I just kind of keep cognizant of that, but I'm not too strict on it. Oh, I have to be this certain number. I've kind of learned about like the scale weight and how it kind of deciphers your mood. And it's like, okay, if I'm up 2 pounds, that could be muscle. That could be.
I did offer
Water,
some.
yeah.
I offered him some brisket one day, and he turned it down though.
No, I did have a bite though. Remember, I did
finally
have a bite. I did finally have a bite.
How often
It
do you
was
weigh
mid-workout.
yourself? Once a week or
I do it every morning.
Every day?
Every morning.
Okay.
Yep. Just to make sure everything is.
Well, I was going to ask you if you can tell if you don't, but you weigh yourself all the time. So I was going to say if you can tell when you're running, if you're like, I'm a little heavier than I should be right now.
Yeah. Usually when I am in like a marathon block, I do gain weight, which is crazy, just because I'm hungry all the time, just from running a lot and stuff like that. But when I did first start my like whole transformation, I was scared of the weight of the scale. Like I wouldn't go weigh myself, and eventually I remember I weighed myself for the first time when I first started. And I had to actually like step off the scale and step back on just to make sure the scale was actually like working, because I was already down like 20 pounds in like, I would say 2 months. So I was like, wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was because I didn't weigh myself the first 2 months of my
When
whole
you
transformation.
started,
Yeah.
I lost 30 pounds my first month when I started losing weight.
You're a
Well,
big
you were super
gabagool.
You probably
I was way fat though, so that was. I remember when I lost that 30 pounds, I was like, "Oh, I did it."
Adonis.
Everybody, come look.
I can see my wiener again.
You could see the reflection of the scale. That used to be my joke when I was, 295 psi, pounds per square inch, ladies. What's up? About
Yucky.
7 to 8 seconds of good fucking in. Yeah, that's right.
Good fucking for somebody.
Yeah, I always had enough to keep me happy, man. That's all I know. You know what I mean?
Oh man, now Luke's parents aren't going to listen to this.
Sorry, Mom. She's not getting the link.
Just cut it off at the end. I apologize.
Just beef up. Just tell her to close her ears at that point.
Yeah.
But no, and like we always talk shit about running, like jokingly, but I mean, no matter what, if you're doing something to get in better shape, that's all we really want people to do is go out there and do something. So, if you're having like the body dysmorphia issues, no matter what direction it is, you don't have to lift weights. I mean, it's always lifting weights is great for health in general, but just getting into it, find something active to do. I don't care if you run or you ride bike or walk or, you know what I mean? Find something that interests you.
Right.
That gets you moving and gets you out of your house. Like it doesn't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be weightlifting. We always give runners shit, but it's something that's better than nothing.
Right. And it's always nice to surround yourself with others that, are kind of going through the same stuff and that has a good support team with it too. And that's why like coming to Omaha Barbell, like I remember my first year being here, like I think I wrote you a note saying like, yeah, this has helped me out a lot, seeing people that are actually strong. Cause like you make those shirts that say like big isn't strong, like strong is strong. And then I saw how many people were, showing up consistently and putting in the work and getting stronger. And then they would also help me out as well. Like Drew Heckman, and Matt, when they were helping me deadlift for like the first like month, I was like, wow, like these guys actually care. And so then it kind of like inspired me to get better and then also to get stronger.
So that's awesome. Yeah, it's all about the community of like we always tell people that everybody thinks where people are intimidating or a gym like this can be intimidating, but actually everybody, 99% of people actually
Just a bunch of big weightlifting nerds.
Yeah, and they just want to help people out. They don't care. You know what I mean? But you listened.
Right.
Then we've talked about it before. If you're going to ask for help, at least listen. If you respect that person enough to ask their opinion or ask for their help, listen to what they're going to tell you. Which you did.
Yeah.
And it worked out. Like the running group you're part of, is that a local one or is that one that people who aren't here could get to be a part of? We probably have a lot of runners that listen, But is it a local Omaha one or is it a nationwide one?
Yeah, it's a local Omaha one. It's called Exarban Athletic Club. So
Okay. So looking at local people if they want to.
AAC. Yeah. If you're
Now,
ever
is it like
interested.
is it a pay? Is it like a free group? Is it like a Facebook group? What is it?
It's a free group. We have a Discord group chat and everybody comments of like what are you going to be running on Saturday? We're at like Lake Zurinsky. I got 15 miles. I'm running at like an 8-minute mile pace. Like, feel free to come join. And then other people would come join. And it's also like if you're gearing up for a workout for like a marathon, like people will help you with your paces and they would show up and run with you. So it's a really good support system. And like when I went to Mesa, there was like maybe 6 or 7 of us, all from Exarban Athletic Club, and we all had like the same stringer, so it almost kind of felt like we were like a whole team.
Like a team.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to kind of see everybody else do so well.
Yeah.
And that was Exarban Athletic Group. Is that what it's called?
Exarban Athletic Club.
Okay.
Yep, the AAC.
And is that like a website they can find, or just the group, or how do you get to if someone wants to be in it?
If you're trying to be in it, contact me, and then I can kind of put you in with the group leader.
And then what's your? Because you have a couple of Instagram pages. What's your fitness one?
It's Luke Nico Fit is my fitness one.
That's all one word, not any underscores.
I think it's Luke Nico _fit.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're interested in getting into running, like hit me up on Instagram and we'll get you in the AAC.
That's awesome. You guys got anything else for him?
No.
Tanner?
Nope.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on here,
Yeah, thanks,
doing
man.
this.
Thank you. It's an honor. Like,
Very
seriously,
cool.
it's a good privilege to be here.
I don't know if that's yeah. We appreciate that.
You're the first one who said that, so we're going to take it.
Frame it, put it on the wall.
We appreciate you guys listening. Please go out there, like, subscribe, share, follow. We're on the YouTubes, wherever you listen to podcasts. We're there. Let us know if you guys want to see any other content. We're trying to get some more YouTube videos out there. Matt was on the last couple, or on the last one, looking great.
Just svelte.
Yeah, I cramped up halfway through the video. It's good.
Was that today?
No, we have our little Barbell After Dark series, and Matt did one on
Out
the
of
belt
Elite.
spot.
Well, I know. I saw. I
Like,
saw
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Got my booty cheeks
He,
burning.
he couldn't make it through the video.
Oh, it was tough.
No, dude, the video's like a minute 30. No, we had been squatting prior to that. I will say that.
We already did some training
90
before.
seconds was his cap.
Brett, grab me a Gatorade. They got an IV machine here. I know there's a guy here somewhere.
No, in true form, I think Dave only has monsters there and rains.
Yeah.
Was there anything else in the cooler? Yeah, there's no health, just rain and monster. There was a drinking fountain.
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Hell yeah.
There was a drinking fountain.
If you want some minerals, just a tap water.
Yep.
thing.
Yeah. But yeah, like, subscribe, share, go out there, follow our YouTube page, trying to get that up. And we'll see you guys next time.